everyone, I'm Rebecca McLaughlin-Duane, and this week we're in Lebanon's Bekaa Valley attending the Baalbeck International Festival against the backdrop of these magnificent Roman ruins. The event showcases leading theatre, musical and dance acts, with organisers keen to promote Lebanon's status as a cultural hub in the region and exhibit new talent. Later in the show, we'll have an exclusive interview with a member of one of Lebanon's most famous thespian and musical families. Oussama Rahbani, the celebrated composer, producer and coach of young artists, speaks to inspire. But first, the Baalbeck Festival has been a highlight of Lebanon's social and summer calendar for more than 60 years. It's hosted some of the biggest names in Arab show business and world premieres of operas and plays. Darlene Hassan has more.
One of the best preserved and largest Roman temple complexes in the world. This is the Temple of the Gods. Located 90 kilometers east of the capital Beirut, this UNESCO World Heritage Site has witnessed the rise and fall of many civilizations for over 2,000 years.
Dubbed the City of the Sun by Alexander the Great, this site is home to the oldest of Lebanon's summer festivals, an event launched in 1956 by the then President Camille Chamoun, who wanted to create a stage in Lebanon to showcase innovative performances by local and international artists alike.
The internationally renowned Baalbeck Festival has hosted a wide array of Lebanese and global artists for decades, like Fayrouz, Kulthum, Placido Domingo, and Sting. In 2012, the event was forced to change location due to the Syrian war taking place around 50 kilometers away. And the president of the festival believed that the show must go on.
To explain our resistance, we had to move some shows to Beirut to keep the name of the festival alive. But it's to come back with more determination, let's say. The highlights, if we can talk, it's the importance of bringing the level to an international level with Lebanese participation.
In the lineup of artists this year is Georges Khabaz, a Lebanese actor and comedian known for his dark humor. His play, Illa Iza, or Except If, is the highlight of this year's festival. And it tells the story of residents living in an old building on the verge of collapsing. Its inhabitants come from various religious backgrounds, which is common in Lebanon. But their opposing views on the matter causes an even greater rift. I went backstage to sit down with the multi-talented artist to discover the different layers of his work.
Unfortunately, there's an old-fashioned look to different people in our community. The play imitates reality very directly. For this play, there are several dimensions. The first dimension, a theater simulates reality where the action of the play takes place in the building. The second dimension is the orchestra, where the music that simulates fantasy. The third dimension, Baalbeck columns, the history with 3D mappings. The greatness of this place is reminiscent of its stone history, the days of the Romans, or its artistic and cultural history.
Khabaz worked with 90 artists to deliver this spectacle with acting, dancing, and singing. It was specifically created for Baalbeck's theater space, with some artists performing here for the first time.
The feel when I play, it's really special. It's happened just here.
Whilst many talented performers have made their debut at Baalbeck this year, many of the audience are first-timers too. And in all, more than 2,500 people came together to embrace the festival's spirit of inclusion and experience what's like when an ancient historical setting meets the modern arts.
Lebanon's artistic and creative history is as old as the hills, and much explored themes over the decades have included historical and passion plays and, of course, songs about Arab nationalism. And most commonly associated with the musical and theatrical growth of the country since the 1940s are a family called the Rahbanis. Mention the Rahbani name in the Middle East and chances are people will sing you lyrics from their songs or recite lines from their poetry and plays. The family's association with the arts began around 70 years ago when the late brothers Mansour and Assi Rahbani debuted their new take on regional music on Lebanese radio. The brothers went on to carve out successful careers as composers, songwriters, musicians and playwrights, and possibly their best-known alliance from the 1950s onwards was with the legendary Lebanese singer Fayrouz, who has sold more than 80 million records worldwide, making her the best-selling Arab songstress alive. The trio produced hit after hit, and 4 years after Fayrouz and Assi married, the trio performed together for the first time at the Baalbeck Festival in 1957. Success ensued through the 60s and the 70s, and in the advent of the Lebanese Civil War, the brothers produced musicals with deeply critical, satirical and political messages. Following the passing of Assi in 1998, Fayrouz and Mansour staged a Baalbeck Festival reunion after a 25-year break. The brothers' music is alive and well today in the next generation, with Mansour's sons Marwan and Oussama in particular having inherited their father's pioneering passion for plays and musicals. Oussama has composed countless scores and orchestral arrangements for his own and his brothers' plays and musical adaptations, including Don Quixote, Zenobia, and the poems of Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. Oussama is also well known for his role as a music mentor on the reality TV show Star Academy. Among his protégés is the soprano Hiba Tawaji, who has performed in numerous plays produced by the younger Rahbani brothers and recorded many successful studio albums with them. Her achievements have been proud moments for Oussama, who remains a passionate supporter of new Lebanese talent. He stepped away from his recording studio to talk to Inspire Middle East in a setting well traversed by his famous family. Oussama, a very warm welcome to Euronews.
I would like to welcome you here in Baalbeck, people.
What a fantastic setting for our show.
It's magical.
Let me start by asking you, family is central to your work, not least with the crossover collaborations between your father and your brother. But are there any creative differences that come to bear, and how do you deal with them?
Yeah, sure. We don't have to be on the same opinion always, but you have one line. You have your identity, you have your own thoughts, you have your character also. Let's say my father, the great Mansour, if he's in charge of his play, we have to work as we give opinion, we fight a lot. But if I'm in charge of my play, it's more like my point of view of the subject of the project.
Drawing on your time consulting with Star Academy, were the pupils open to your critique? How easy were they to teach?
With candidates from all over the Arab world, the most difficult thing was if they are going to accept your opinion. Music and art are very professional to us, so that's why I'm so tough with them.
So is it a case of breaking them down before you build them back up again?
This is the secret of your success. If you have a good temper and a good nerves, and you know how to lay back a little bit and take the punch, let's say, sometimes on the edge of crying. But some people, they don't have this.
Oussama, let me ask you, where would you say the Middle East is positioned on its journey to reach a wider audience in Europe, the States and beyond?
First of all, it's the language. Let's take it as it is, because the Arab people are more emotional and they stick too much into language. And plus, you have what we call in the Arab music is the quarter tones. It's very difficult sometimes for the Occidental audience. Sometimes they consider it, oh, what is that, kind of out of tune or something? No, it is kind of our music, it's like that. And this is kind of an obstacle, it limits a little bit the fusion. So it's not easy.
Can I ask you about Fayrouz, the most famous living Arab singer? She's your aunt. Yeah. Do you see her often? How is she? And does she give you feedback on your work?
No, I cannot sometimes get in touch with her because she's in her, what we call the golden tour, if you want. She's discreet and mysterious. And this is what makes her the diva, because diva, it's not only by the voice, it's also by how to act and react.
Does she still sing? Might she one day return again to Baalbeck?
It's not easy to come back to Baalbeck. Let me tell you why. Because the weather, first of all, it's a little bit demanding. If you go with the altitude, and especially if you are going to sing, sometimes the weather in Baalbeck is dry. It should be sometimes humid to have the voice. Maybe you can lose your voice while preparing.
What's next for you? What's cooking?
Actually, we're preparing lots of music with Hiba. We have some concerts. But the main project is I'm preparing a new play. It's been 8 years I'm working on it. It's Nefertiti.
Would you like me to audition? Are you looking for a female lead?
Yes, sure. We'll be competing with Hiba.
Okay, maybe not. Oussama, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for speaking to me today.
Thank you, and you're most welcome in Lebanon.
Well, our time on the ground at the temples of Venus, Jupiter and Bacchus has come to an end. Before I leave you, here are some social media posts of people enjoying the Baalbeck Festival. Lebanese dancer Lodi shared this image of her limbering up before taking to the stage in Baalbeck. And Naji from Lebanon looked on from the audience as the French rock star Mathieu Chedid and Lebanese trumpet player Ibrahim Malouf performed a tribute to Fayrouz.